So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and recently a lot of you have been asking about my Glaive Prime build because I've been featuring it in my videos a lot because it's a weapon that I always bring with me whenever I'm doing something at higher levels. It's a weapon that I use for the missions leading up to the Archon hunts. I use it for Steel Path, arbitrations, and sometimes even sorties. It's just really solid, it does a ton of damage, and it's pretty fun to use as well. So first of all, I'm using a heavy attack build, so you're not just going to be tossing the Glaive around, you need to throw it and then press the heavy attack button which detonates the Glaive and returns it back to you. This is a really strong way to build essentially any Glaive, but it's particularly strong on the Glaive Prime as the explosion caused by the heavy attack detonation has a forced slash proc on it. And second of all, I really enjoy melee, so I have a dedicated melee setup. I have a Naros with a Crimson Archon shard that gives me 25% extra melee crit damage. I always run at least 2 Gladiator mods which give you a mini blood rush effect, so this scales my crit chance a little bit higher. I also use Arcane Strike for extra attack speed, and finally I have subsumed Warcry on my Naros and I run it with Eternal War. Oh yeah, and it's also a good idea to run Primechore Footed or something like that so that you don't get staggered by your own explosions. This can actually get pretty annoying in some tile sets that have like narrow corridors and stuff. So here's what the build looks like. It's pretty basic and it doesn't actually require any format at all, which is always nice. First up we have the stance. This doesn't matter, you just want to put on whatever to get extra capacity. Since you're not going to be using the combos, you're just going to be throwing the Glaive around and then blowing it up via heavy attack. So as far as the actual mods go, we have Sacrificial Pressure and Sacrificial Steel for a ton of melee damage and crit chance. You don't want to run Condi Overload because most enemies, even in Archon hunts, will die from a single heavy attack, and it's not worth running Prime Pressure Point either because a little bit of extra melee damage isn't worth less frequent orange crits. Then we're going to slap on Corrupt Charge, which is going to keep us at 2x combo multi at all times, which increases our damage quite significantly, but it also gives us more crit if we have Gladiator mods on our frame. Now after that, we're going to put on Melee Prowess for some raw status chance, Amalgam Organ Shatter for crit damage and heavy attack wind-up speed. We're going to follow that up with Volatile Quick Return, which removes all the bounces, but gives you 3 extra meters of blast radius, so the explosions are much bigger with this. And we are going to top it all off with Virulent Scourge and Vicious Frost for vital damage and status. The reason we build it like this is because we want to get as much damage and crit as possible, right? And then we want to make sure that we proc viral as often as possible whenever we detonate the Glaive with a heavy attack. This is why the Glaive Prime is so good. You don't need to worry about slash at all because you always get it with a heavy attack explosion. Now the amount of damage this does is just straight up hilarious. You will commonly see slash proc stick for as high as 35,000 without any outside intervention, just 1 slash proc and 1 vital proc from the Glaive exploding. It's not the highest damage you can get with the Glaive Prime. You can easily get your slash procs to take for over 100,000 if you do a hybrid build where you actually build your combo up to 12 times, but that does have pretty significant ramp up because it consumes the combo when you detonate it, so you then need to build it back up, whereas with this you can just blow it up whenever you feel like it, no ramp up at all. And it shreds absolutely everything: Grenier, Corpus, Infested, Corrupted, even the Sentients, because we are using 2 sacrificial mods, so we get 40% extra damage against Sentients. And while that wasn't that big of a deal before, Archon hunts are full of Sentients, so it's actually useful there. But by far the best thing about it is just how simple it is. There is no ammo to worry about, you just throw it, you blow it up, and everybody's dead, Dave. It's magnificent. It even works well against status-resistant enemies like Acolytes, because you're not proccing a ton of slash, you're proccing actually very few slash procs, but they're just really strong. Also, don't discard the upfront damage of the explosion, because you can easily hit in the hundreds of thousands with an orange crit. That's why it, leaves behind such strong slash procs. It's also why it feels great no matter where you take it, because it will one-shot everything from low to high level and then the slash kicks in for some real damage. So it doesn't have the same problem that some slash weapons have, where once you get to sort of mid to high level, enemies stop getting one-shot and you have to wait for the slash proc to tick, making the enemy feel significantly beefier than they are and making the weapon feel considerably worse than just a straight up crit weapon. So in conclusion, this is a build that I would recommend to absolutely everybody. It's a ton of fun to use, it does great damage, and if you ever get bored of it, the Glaive Prime is extremely versatile, so you have a ton of other builds that you can play as well. You can do a rebound build where you don't detonate the Glaive and you just let it bounce around. You can do a regular melee build where you use it as any other melee weapon, or you can do a hybrid build where you build up your combo and then use that massive multiplier to get a massive explosion from a heavy attack. Hell, you could even combo it with a primer weapon and run Condition Overload to make the damage even more ridiculous. But anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to say, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video and found it helpful, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.